if you can manage these three things, I guarantee you can walk out a non-smoker. So you've tried to quit smoking cold turkey. Yes. You've tried to set a D date to quit smoking. Yeah. You heard that on the internet. Someone told you on some app, set a date to quit smoking. So you've done that. You have tried to reduce the number of cigarettes. You have tried to inform your social circle that, hey, I'm going to quit smoking by so-and-so date. I've become a non-smoker. You've tried NRTs, patches and gums, but you still keep bouncing back. You have to ask yourself, what's really going on? Imagine that you are in a dark room. It's completely dark around you. Okay. Now, how would you get rid of darkness? Let's say you got a brilliant idea. You take a shovel and start scooping out the darkness from your room. It sounds funny, right? You wouldn't do that. It sounds illogical. But what you would do is you would just switch the light on. You will draw the curtains. And when the light comes in, darkness goes on its own. This is logical. This is based in the universal principle. But when I say the same things on my content, when I share that, hey, if you keep trying cold turkey, you're going to frustrate yourself. A lot of people actually send hate towards me. Okay. They comment on my content. They'll send me messages saying you're a salesman. And I'm saying I'm not selling you anything right now. This is going against the principle that is universal. Okay. You cannot scoop out the darkness with a shovel. Similarly, if you want to remove cigarettes, by focusing on removing it, by going cold turkey or reducing your cigarettes or talking about it or obsessing about it, you're trying to scoop it out, just like you're trying to scoop out darkness. So the principle at play here, which is universal, is the principle of polarity. One thing that you can obviously look at in your addiction is smoking is an unconscious activity, right? Is unconsciousness a good or a bad thing? It's neither, actually. It depends on what that unconsciousness is leading you to do. A lot of things are happening unconsciously. Your organs are working unconsciously. When you're proficient, you're driving unconsciously, right? You're not really conscious about everything. You're driving unconsciously. So unconsciousness by itself is not a good or a bad thing. But you have to ask yourself, is the result of that unconsciousness beneficial for you or not? If it's not benefiting you at the physical level, at an emotional, psychological connection level, financial level, spiritual level, then that unconsciousness is not beneficial. Not a good thing or a bad thing, factually, not a helpful thing for you as a person, right? And so if that unconsciousness is going on one end of the pole, which is, let's say, darkness, right? You don't want to engage with the unconsciousness and remove that. You want to go on the other end of the pole if you're doing this on your own by yourself, which is the light. And to understand what the light or the other pole is, you have to only look at what is beneath this unconsciousness that you're going through with your smoking. Most likely, based on what I've done with hundreds of people, I can tell you it is fear. Okay. The very thing that you can see when you decide to quit is your body freaking out because you don't know where you're going to get your next fix from. Okay. You can't sit with the urges, the stress or the discomfort of it. There's fear beneath that, beneath your conscious awareness. So what's on the other pole, the other end of that pole is love. Okay. Unconsciousness versus consciousness, right? Love. So you got to ask yourself in three different segments, what would you love to have at a physical level? What would you love to have at a thought, emotion level? And more importantly, what would you love to have at the spiritual level? When you can sit down with yourself and make a list of what would you like to have, you don't want to go and attack everything together. So let's talk about physical. Let me give some examples to you, right? At a physical level, what would you love to have? Would you love to have flexibility, fitness? Would you love to enjoy your time in your body? Would you love to feel good in your body? If that's the case, then you know what to do about it. Would you, at the thought and the emotional level, would you love to enjoy relationships, connections with people that are authentic, that are beautiful, where you can weather the storms of conflicts coming together, where you are growing with people, people are drawn towards you, you're magnetic. If that's what you want, that's what you love, You want to go for that. And at the spiritual level, do you have aspirations of becoming your best version, really finding out who you are, not just your story, not just your identity, not just your experiences and the concepts and your certificates and your qualifications, who you are beneath all of these things. If you want to explore that, these are things that you love, and when you focus on those things, it's like focusing on bringing the light inside the dark room. You're not focused on what you want to get rid of. So forget about trying to reduce your number of cigarettes, forget about stopping the cigarette. Let that go on, let it continue. Do not touch that, do not disturb it. Instead, ask while you're doing that, what would I love to have now? A lot of smokers, a lot of you get stuck saying that only if I quit smoking, I can have a better body. Only if I quit smoking, I will have enough motivation to do something about my career. Not true. And I'll prove it to you right now, right here. So if you look at the times, go back to a time when you were really ill, and I mean like really ill. Okay, I can think back to a time when I had dengue and I was out. My platelet counts had come down to 18,000. Talking about 2010, I was in the hospital for 3 days in the ICU. If you can go back to a point like that in your life, you're really ill and you scan your body, and you'll find out in that time as well, when you're really ill, there are at least some parts of your body that is feeling completely okay. That is completely all right. Which means that in the most adverse of our calamities, there are parts of us that feels completely normal and all right. And if you scan yourself, at any level, physical, emotional, spiritual, you'll find some bits of you all right. Okay. You want to use that concept, right? Even though you're stuck in addiction, you want to ask yourself, what's the least I can do for my body today? And if that means not being a couch potato right now and getting up and taking a stroll in my room, I'm going to do that. And if you're someone who takes a stroll in the room, you're fine with that, then stretch yourself, get out and walk for 5 minutes. And if you're someone who's comfortable doing that, then stretch yourself and jog for 5 minutes. You get the drill. Take the next step that you can towards the things that you'd love to have. And that capacity is there in you. I'm telling you, that's a truth. You cannot deny it. So you can do that for your relationship. You can do that for anything you want. The key really is to pace yourself and go slow. This is a marathon. Eventually, gradually, the light that shines when you do the things that you love, the light that shines will take out the darkness without you having to focus on it. Take those tiny actions. And even if it means one action in one area, do it. And as you keep doing it, you will see, let's say, for example, you choose to take care of your body and you start focusing on that. Let me give you an example. Let's say you decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to take care of my body. That's what I love. So you get a fitness coach, for example, and you start working out slowly, 10 minutes a day, start building up slowly. You fail, you fail. As you keep doing that, you'll fail and you'll succeed. You'll fail and succeed. You know what's going on really? The stuff that is beneath the unconsciousness of your smoking, okay, that stuff is going to show up as you take up what you love. Okay, in your workout, it will show up as resistance. It'll show up as something you don't want to do. You want to fail, you want to give up. And that stuff that you're dealing with on that turf of what you love, as you keep winning and failing and winning and failing, and eventually you keep going up the ladder, this unconsciousness, what is beneath that, starts dimming out. That's how the light comes in. This is based on the universal principle of polarity. You know why? Because light and dark are not two different things. They are the same things, just the degrees vary. Where does the light stop and the darkness begin? Where does the darkness stop and light begin? It's the same thing on the same scale, like hot and cold. On the thermometer, where does the hot stop and the cold begin? It's the same thing, right? The degrees vary. So to quit smoking, once again, I'll bring this to you. Stop focusing on reducing your number, quitting cold turkey. If you really want to quit, focus on what you would love to have and start taking action towards that every single day. Build on that gradually, slowly, and make room for failure. So when you're putting money towards smoke, your subconscious goes, that's the priority you put on your well-being, on your health. But when it comes to quitting, you are averse to putting money in that. And I'm not saying spend money with a hypnotherapist like me. I'm saying put the money down, because that's a message you're sending to your subconscious about the priority you give to the things that you love. So if it means you have to hire a fitness coach, hire a nutritionist, do it. If it means you have to go and enroll for a meditation course, for a mindfulness course, do it. Don't be a miser in this area, like really, because your subconscious is reading this. So you really want to invest at least a substantial amount of what you're spending in smoking, at least in relative terms, because your subconscious is reading how much you prioritize your well-being of what you love. And for what you love, you would put money. Your subconscious sees that. So let me put that as well. So if you find that you're not succeeding, it's not because of just will. Understanding the principle of polarity and deciding to go for that and sealing the deal by putting the money towards that, by investing in that, by really putting your skin in the game. If you can do these three things, you can quit smoking on your own. You don't need some coach. You don't need some therapist. The only difference why I do what I do and what you get out of working with me is as simple as having a guide when you go to a new place. Like I'm here in Bali right now. So if I have a guide, if I know someone who has been to places where I want to go and explore, there are two things that I get out of that engagement and paying that person. A, I get certainty. I know that this person has been there. He has taken many people. So I get certainty of what I want to explore. Number two, it's my time and my energy. By going with this person, I don't go around the bush. I'm straight away going for what I want. I'm not experimenting. So it's certainty and it's time. And for that, I'm willing to pay money. But what can help you, what's my intention for this call with you today, is that take information at least from someone who has been there in writing, right? The next best thing, if you can't go with a guide, is get some information from a friend who has been to that place before. Get that in writing and go with that. The worst thing you can do is go into a place not having any information with you, trying and failing and losing your focus and motivation and money and time and energy and everything, and thinking that you had a bad time in that place, right? Because you haven't gone with the right direction. So my intention is to give you the information that you can use. Once again, to summarize, this is the third time I'm repeating it. If you really want to quit smoking and you want to do this on your own, you got to remember this simple thing. Stop focusing on cigarettes, which means stop trying to quit smoking, stop trying to reduce the number of smokes, stop NRTs. Let the cigarette continue. Number two, figure out what you would love to have, not want, but what you would love to have from your heart. Things that really brighten your day, lights you up, makes you feel amazing and alive at the physical level, at the emotional thought level, at the spiritual level. Pick any one of these areas and consistently make a decision to take small steps, not massive, small steps consistently every day. And number three, when you've done this, lock it in by making a substantial investment towards that. It doesn't have to be with a hypnotherapist or any kind of smoking cessation work. It can be towards what you love, but put your money down, because your subconscious is watching that. You are continuing to put money on smoking while you do this. So it is still seeing what you're prioritizing in terms of putting the money, because money simply speaks of your priority. So you want to prioritize and you want to send that message gradually towards your subconscious that you do prioritize your health, you do prioritize your relationships, you do prioritize your spiritual health as well. So if you can manage these three things, I guarantee you, you can walk out a non-smoker. And as you do this, this becomes a way of life of depolarizing, of going on the other end, and you can actually apply this principle anywhere. If you want to take out darkness from the room, stop scooping the darkness. Instead, let the light in, draw the curtains open, put the lights on, darkness goes away. I hope I have served you in the best way possible with the information. If you do have any questions for me, ask me. And happy Diwali to you. May the light really shine into our darkness and illuminate us. Like we really need this in this time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here.